Hello, 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 hello. Thank you guys for your patience. We are just going to start over from the beginning because we're having technical difficulties. I'm going to go ahead and share it on my page as well so that you guys can watch. And so please still comment. It is a public post. So you can still comment. We can see your comments. So let us know that you're here. We're starting over. This is another live conversation with the authors of Revealing and Healing. I am Delina Brooker. Have my co-author Anjanita Williams here. Say hey, Angel.
Hello. Hey.
Rashi could not be here tonight, but we do have someone special, a special guest, my bestest old friend, Lita Reed. Say hey, Lita.
Hello. Glad to be here.
So we spoke about Lita in our very first live. So she plays a really important role in all of our lives, and it's kind of like some of that good old glue you need to keep everything intact and everybody in line. So we love Lita, and thank you for joining us today, Lita. So last week we did a live reading from the first chapter. Rasha read from the first chapter, Miss Victim. We also highlighted Chandra Southern of Delivered Vessels, my friend. So please visit deliveredvessels.org for more information on her organization, ways you can volunteer, donations, money, clothes, food, whatever. She helps out, does a lot in the community. We had a really good conversation last week about our topic, though, and it was a really great interactive conversation. So I want to make sure that you guys are commenting in the comment section so that we can know that you are here, hear what you have to say, and everything so that we can, wait a minute, I clicked something. Commenting. Okay, yeah. Okay, great, Pastor Pam. She said the picture quality is great again. So we were having problems before, so we had to start all over. So let us know that you're here so that we can interact with you. We want to have this great conversation with you. We want to know what you think because it takes a village. It does take a village, and your answer may not be my answer. And there's more than one way to solve a problem because we're really trying to dig into some of these really deep problems and situations that people go through. So, Angel, what did you think about last week's conversation?
Last week's conversation was great. It was a very hard topic, but it's something that needs to be talked about because it's something that's continuously going on, even in this day and age. And I think that talking about it is the one way that, number one, we can heal from it. And number two, we can actually get the people who are actually doing these things and showing those people just how their actions are affecting the children and how they grow up and some of the issues that they have and stealing, the innocence of children and how that goes. Like, it's a very touchy subject because I'm as being a sexual assault survivor, I can only imagine having to go through that as a child. So I don't know if you remember when we were like writing it and we found that out. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, let's go find this dude. But I'm glad we had it. It was very interactive. It was a really hard conversation. People were actually commenting and, really interactive with us. So I hope we can get some of that going on this week.
Absolutely. Now, Lita, I know that you haven't been with us. This is your first time with us, but you've seen the visual series and you've kind of played a role behind the scenes as well. So what do you think about everything that we have going on, what we're doing, this new platform that we're using? Just share your thoughts with us.
Well, I said it before and I'll say it again. I just love you ladies. I love everything you're doing. From the beginning, I just knew that this would be a good project. I knew that it would be life-changing, not just for you all, but for other people. And like I said before, it allows you a platform to reach so many people, people you may know and people you may not know. But that's really what it's all about, being able to tell your story and hopefully allow it to be able to maybe heal other people who are going through things and let people know they're not alone. So many times we go through situations and we just really believe in our hearts that you're the only person who may have experienced this situation. It could be so heart-wrenching, but this story, and like I said before, it allowed me to be able to relate to each of you ladies, you Rasha and Anjanita. And I know if it did it for me, it's just going to do that for so many other people. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy y'all let me come on and have something to say about something. So thank you.
Well, you know, she always has something to say. She's that one person who will keep me in line, keep me in check, tell me the truth when I want her to lie to me. That's that one. That's the friend that you
That's
need, though.
right.
That's the friend
That's
that you
right.
need. Because I do the same to her, but she will. When I'm wrong, she be like, "Now, girl, you know you're wrong. Go back in and try it again." And I'll be like, "I don't." Want to." She be like, "Do it, do it." So, but that's the
Oh
kind of friend
God.
you need. So I really appreciate
That's
all the
right.
love, all the support, and all the truth, and telling me when I don't want to
Absolutely.
hear it. You know, so
Hmm.
you know I love you, girl. You know I love you, girl.
I
So
love you
anyway,
too.
we are going to get into the rest of this conversation. This week we're going to be doing some more reading. We're going to read from chapter 2. Um, it is entitled "Little Country Gal in a Big City,"
Yes.
and this
Yes.
is the second chapter. It is part of Reality Story, and so we will let Anjanita take it from here.
Okay. Well, hey everybody. This part of the book, I was about 7 years old when this happened. So just kind of keep that in mind as I'm reading. 7-year-old child. I heard a loud smack. I opened my bedroom door to see my dad standing over my mother, pounding her with his fist. He turned around and saw me. I'll never forget the look in his eyes when he said to me, "Go back to your room." The
Mm.
next morning, he came into my room and stated very sternly, "Don't you tell nobody what you saw last night, you hear me?" I nodded my head yes. "Because if you do, you're going to make me hate you. And you don't want me to hate you, do you?" I shook my head no as he walked out of the room. After that, I tried my best to show my father that I loved him. All I wanted was for him to love me back, and he would when he wasn't mad. When he was mad, it seemed like I was the reason he was in the situation he was in. I was told that my mom got pregnant with me in or around July 1975. She and my dad married that October, and I came along in March. Nicknamed Angel because my dad said I looked like a little angel. You would think that he would have treated me like one. You don't want me to hate you, and you're gonna make me hate you. It really made me feel like I had to work even harder because I didn't want my dad. Who wants their dad to hate them? You know. So I
Mhm.
wanted to keep pushing and keep doing things just to kind of show him that don't hate me. I don't want you to hate me. Please don't hate me. But it also molded me, and it molded the way that I view relationships and pretty much what to expect from men. That happened during like the formative times of my years. And it's reflected when I look back and I think about the relationships that I've been in. That it's bigger than just that one episode, but that particular piece like really has shown up in every single one of my relationships that I've had with when it comes to men. And I will say that you know parents are important to their kids, are important in a kid's life, whether you're a mother or father. Like that's just a given. But it's something about a dad, especially to be
Mhm.
there for his daughter, you know,
Mhm.
to show her what to expect from men, to show her how she's supposed to be treated by men. Like he's the first man in her life. So if her father is absent, if her father is abusive, if her father does nothing but hurl insults at her, if her father is not caring and loving with her father doesn't really respect her, doesn't show her how to be respected. Like that is the basis for the relationships that she's going to have in her later life. And that cycle is going to repeat. So I'm going to always say fathers need to make sure that they are in their kids' lives because your daughter needs something to look at when she's comparing men that she's going to date. So if you're prone to abandon your kids, guess what? Your son's probably going to abandon his children, and your daughter is going to date men who abandon her. If you're standoffish and selfish, then chances are those are going to be the men that your daughter dates. Though if you're abusive, chances are that's going to be the kind of men that your daughter dates. So I think it's very important for fathers to be there to show their girls how they need to be respected and treated. I mean, to me, a daughter is a princess. She's a princess. So you need to treat her as if she is a princess. And yeah, and that's
You want to say anything about
even
it?
to this day it's still, and I'm in my 40s, and it's still kind of like an issue. Even though I've grown past a lot of that, it's still kind of an issue.
Probably always will be. Lita, did you
Hmm.
want to add anything to that?
Well, I was just going to say, men a lot of times don't even realize how important it is to be in their daughters' lives. That is so extreme. And even statistically speaking, they say that the girl's self-esteem, the daughter's self-esteem, self-confidence, go-gettedness comes from their father. So when that's not there, you have these little girls growing up to be adults who conduct themselves like little girls and don't always think clearly when dealing with a man or being in a relationship. And just to add to that, Angel, again, I can relate to that because growing up, I never knew what my father thought of me, and our relationship was very contingent on how I was performing, if I was doing good in school, whether or not I made him angry at home, if it's something I didn't do right, and I had a smart mouth. It ain't nothing changed, but if I was having a smart mouth, all of those things were contingent on my relationship with my father. So as a child, I grew up forming in my head that I was just not the greatest person. I mean, if I can't keep this man happy, or if he's walking around telling me I didn't do this, and he's not filling me up with those things that I needed. And what really gets me is when I was coming up, people used to think our family was like the Cosbys, and I even
Hmm.
had friends who said, well, you got your mom and your dad, and that was good. That's half the battle. But let me just make sure then be clear. A father could be in the home, and the daughter could be just as lacking as if the father wasn't in the home. Sometimes, to me, it could be worse off. But like I was saying with my dad, I really grew up with a lot of those beliefs that I believed about myself. And y'all know I sing and I do other things, and it don't matter till this day. It don't matter what somebody tells me I do well. Because I didn't get that from my father, it's whatever. It's okay, it's something I do. I had to ask my dad just recently here, I would say within the last year or two, because somebody asked me to ask him, what do you think about me, Daddy? Can you believe that? Almost 40 years of age and have no clue what my father thinks about me. Never thought about it. I was scared to ask him. So I asked him, and he said something totally different than the things that I formed in my head as a child. And for that very reason, I have to have conversations with my daughter's father just to make sure, listen, we got to make sure this thing is right, because the same way you acting right now, that same man you bring home acting like you gonna be ready to fight and maybe even kill. So we got to get this thing together. You see what I'm saying? So it is extremely important that our fathers step up and get involved in our baby girls' life. They're raising queens from Wakanda, and we got to treat them as such. But another thing I wanted to say real quick to hey, say real quick to Angel's reading the book. I've learned as an adult, I have learned to be forgiving of my father, Angel, because our fathers come from a different era. And I can't speak much on this day and age because we have come so far educationally in terms of the family structure and what went wrong back when we was growing up. But back in those days, they just believed in coming home, making sure the bills was paid, and making sure we had a roof over our head. They didn't get. I don't know no man back then who was real touchy feely and self building self esteem. So you have to be able to forgive your father for that. He may just not have really known. That's one of the things I've been really working on with myself. And then you have to fill yourself up daily. It's a daily struggle, but you have to fill yourself up daily with positive self-talk, and change those beliefs and ideas that you have in your head because of what you lack from growing up. Did I talk too long?
No, you're good.
No, you're
No, you're
good.
good.
'Cause
Okay. Okay.
everything you said was perfect. But wait,
Hmm.
just 1 second, because I also wanted to add, like, I just remember, sending my dad like a birthday card and sending him, like, literally going out of my way, making sure he had a birthday card, sending him Father's Day cards, or calling him on his birthday or calling him on Father's Day, or basically just being the one to call him all the time. You know what I mean? I'm the one initiating the contact. I'm the one trying to keep in touch and things like that. And I found myself doing that in relationships with men. Like, I'm always the one
Mm-hmm.
pushing. I'm the one calling. I'm the one doing everything in there. But that's a learned behavior. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole feeling like abandonment thing. Like, he didn't come to. I've graduated 3 times already. And he's never been to a graduation of mine. So it's like, okay, so even in my accomplishments, you still can't just be there for me, like, just one time. It's taken me a really long time because I thought I had forgiven him, and I thought I was over it when I really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But with that soul searching that you're talking about and trying to build yourself up every
Mm-hmm.
day, and really actually dealing with that and working through that, like, I'm on the side of forgiveness at this point. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not. I can't say it doesn't hurt, but that hurt that was enormous is now has decreased. Because I've
Yeah.
I've accepted him for who he is. He I mean, I still love him. He's my dad. I still love him. I still respect him because he's my dad. He's the one
Mm-hmm.
who,
Mm-hmm.
who, if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here, literally. So I do
Mm-hmm.
have that. And it's something daily. It's definitely
Yeah.
something daily.
One more
Well, I
thing that I
was.
want to add
Go ahead.
too. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me say
No,
this
go
real
ahead.
quick, Delina, and then you can take your whole show back over. I just want to say this real quick.
We got
Think
you,
about
Dylan.
Angel, if that's how you feel now, in the same way with me as an adult, it has been hard to be forgiving of certain things. And I guess when you learn better, you do better, you know. So I didn't know back in my
Hmm.
younger years things that bothered me that stemmed from my father, you know. But as you grow older and start, oh, that hurt me. So that hit, when my husband does stuff, sometimes it hit me a certain way, and just where that come from, you know. And I'm starting to learn a lot of these things comes from growing up, you know, and or whatever. So just think, if that's how you feel, think about how our young ladies feel who are younger than us, whose fathers are just not there, or fathers they can't connect to their fathers. Think about how they feel. So it's very important. I just feel like I have to say this. It's very important that we foster the relationships with our daughters and their fathers. A lot of times you'll hear women say, "Well, he know what he's supposed to be doing. I do my thing. He need to make sure he do his." Foster the relationship for your daughter with her father. Don't demasculate him. Don't talk bad about him. And talk to him and be honest with him, because I really, in my heart, believe a lot of times these men just don't know. They just don't know. They don't know how to, and they don't know how important it is. So I said that. Go ahead.
Well, to get back to what all y'all said, both of y'all said, I do, I do agree to an extent that they just don't know because society has made it seem like if men show emotion and feelings and love like
Mm-hmm.
that they're weak, that they're sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
that they're anything other than a type A man's man, and that's not what that means.
Mm-hmm.
God gave us all of our emotions, all of our feelings, and the same feelings and emotions we have, they have. And they should be allowed to express that
That's
without
right.
feeling like, oh, I'm less of a man because I cry. I'm less of a man because I hug my daughter. And just like Angel, I can't imagine witnessing my mother being beaten. I simply can't. I mean, that was never an issue in my household. Our dysfunction was totally different. And just to hear you talk about it, and I'm like, because me and my mama, my sister, we all would have had to pull out an old can. I'm not even gonna say it because my church members on here. we would just had to handle that thing. And I'm not judging you guys for not handling it because I understand. I understand why it was the way that it was. But like I said, there's certain things that's part of the beauty of the book. There's certain ways that you dealt with stuff, certain ways I dealt with things, and it can never be the same. The whole goal is to survive and move forward.
Right.
But even though you are a child and even though you are the oldest, and that comes with certain responsibilities, because I got some of that too. I'm not the oldest, but I was the oldest in the house for the majority of the time. So I understand that that's still an unfair responsibility that we put on ourselves. And I'm still learning things that I take the blame for my younger siblings and stuff. But I was a kid. Like, how am I taking the blame for stuff that happened? And I'm the kid. And I really believe that kids should be kids. Children should feel loved, safe, supported by both parents, by their whole village. And so the church people say that the wife is supposed to be submissive and everything like that. That doesn't mean you get to knock me upside my head and tell me what to do. That's not what that means.
Yes.
That is not what that means. So, and even though like Lita, I was with Lita when she was growing up too, and but I was one of the ones like, girl, you got your daddy in your house, because I didn't, so I was like, girl, he ended up paying them bills. My daddy ain't here, we broke.
Hallelujah. He did do that.
He had a good job paying the bills. He was doing, and when my dad was there, he was paying the bills. Then he left, and then we were broke. So it was just like, oh well, at least you got that. But so it's just amazing how people view things differently, and you really never understand the storm. And I think it's really sad, Lita, that you didn't know how your father felt about you all these years. That's heartbreaking.
It is.
That's heartbreaking. So we
got to me. A part of that, not to interrupt you, go ahead, I'll come back.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, a part of that is also us knowing who we are. That helps form a child when she has, or any child, girl or boy, when they have that concrete, solid relationship with their parents, their father or whoever. So I literally, as an adult, had to just kind of start putting some definition on myself for myself, because I just had no idea. I honestly thought my dad thought I was a bad person. So to hear him tell me he thought out of all my siblings, I was probably the strongest, and he thought I was talented, and just all these things, I'm just sitting there boo crying because I had no idea. That would have been so substantial for me as a child, if I knew how my father felt. That would have been so great for me, because I struggled with identity issues. I think that has a lot to do with it. Just never getting that confirmation from my father. I would go out and do something really, really well, and I would have 50, 60, 80,000 people tell me, you did awesome. And I'm thinking, my daddy didn't say I did well. You know what I'm saying? So that is just so important for little girls, man. We just have to make sure. Yeah, we need that. We need that.
Yeah, we definitely need that validation. And see, from my standpoint, I always knew my father loved me. I can't say I necessarily knew how he felt about me, but even when he was abusing me, outside of the abuse, I knew that he loved me, like a genuine, I love my daughter. This is my daughter. I'm going to protect her. That sounds crazy because you know the history, but even to this day, there's no doubt in my mind that he doesn't love me, because even before he abused me, he always, that's something that he would expect. I love you, baby girl, this, that, and the other. And there was something else that you said. I can't think of it right now. Dang it. It left. I'm sorry.
I think about other little girls who are going through like daddy issues. Like, I hear a lot of men out here talk about women with daddy issues. And why do so many women have daddy issues? I'm like, it's very, very simple. He ain't there. Like, even if he's there physically, he's not there mentally, he's not emotionally, he's not supportive. he's not there. And so when you come along, her expectations of you are for you not to be available emotionally, not to be available to her, mentally, not to be there, and give her accolades, just to praise her. Like, and when someone comes along that does that, like, you getting a side eye because we like, okay, wait a minute, because that's something that we're not used to. And I think a lot of good men are thrown off from that because women will put up their wall like, wait a minute, this is something different and I'm not used to that. But I would try to challenge those men just to have some patience because you're dealing with somebody who has that issue and not really quite sure how to take you because you're standing outside the norm. You know what I mean? And to flip that, you got sons with mommy issues. You know what I mean? With mama issues. So, and unless he's like abusive, I would also say, kind of be patient with the person and see if they can work through it. Now, if it's gone for so long and they can't work through it, then yeah, go. But because I see like a whole generation of us, like a lot of our generation, feels those same things that we feel. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I can't even remember. I think there may have been one, maybe two people that I remember when we were in school that I know, and if I'm wrong with my number, yeah, people let me know. But I can just remember like everybody on the block, or everybody that was in school.
Because he perceived you to be strong. So you didn't need it. You try to feed into those, like if you have a kid who's more sensitive, you try to give them a little bit more love. It seemed like you didn't need it because you were so strong. I get the same thing. They're like, oh, you're the strong, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm the favorite, of course. When they say you're so strong, you can handle this. And that doesn't mean I don't need to be validated. That's not what that means. So I want to address some of the comments in our comments section. Pastor Pam said, I disagree with girls dating those same types of men. My father was abusive, and I vowed not to date men that way, or I made up in my mind that I would kill the person who put his hands on me. I'm with you on that.
That's right. Come on, Pastor.
What I learned through counseling, because they say that because I was molested, I would either molest others, or I would be gay, or I would go, like, I would be really promiscuous or stay away from sex. It was like either all the way left or all the way right. And I'm like, well, why would I do that to somebody? For one, why? What is that? But that was just my take on it. But then it is true that people who are molested are more prone to molesting others. So that is not necessarily
for everybody
the only way that it could happen. But I'm with you. I'm with you, because don't put your beaters on me, because if you do, don't go to sleep. That's all I'm going to say. Don't go to sleep, because I'm not going to fight you while you up, because you're bigger than me. That's why I don't have no cast iron skillets. That's why I'm sorry. Okay. Tiana said, what if he talks bad about you? So what if your father talks bad about you? What's your take on that, guys?
Well,
that, go ahead.
Mine did, Even I remember one time we had a disagreement, and I was like, "Well, Daddy, I just don't agree with you." And my daddy told me that I was stupid. He told me like, I was brainwashed, and I'm like, I'm not stupid. I just don't agree with what you're saying. So he's been giving some disparaging things towards me as well. But by that time I was like in my early. I had just graduated from college, actually. I was like 22.
Oh, so you had your own opinions in real life.
Right, and I had my own place.
Yeah.
You was in my house.
Yeah.
Talking crazy. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. He said, well, I'm getting ready to leave. Okay.
Please do, because I was about to kick you out.
Deuces. But you have to, what you have to understand is, and what I've kind of realized is that when somebody says things like that to you, it's really about themselves and not about you. You know what I mean? That's how they're really feeling about themselves and not about you. Like, I don't even think my dad has even said he was proud of me. I actually can't recall a time when he actually said that. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, okay, so even though he isn't proud of me, I can be proud of myself. You know, and what he's talking bad about me about, I know that's not true about myself. You know, you have to change. You have to change the conversation that you have with yourself, in order to get past all that. Because I just think that when they get to talking crazy, or when he gets to talking crazy, I just be like, all right, Daddy, I love you, bye. Click. We don't have to go any further. It doesn't have to go any further. You don't have to. You don't have to stand there and take all that. You know, you can only take so much. You ain't gotta take all that. You know, you can be like, okay, look, you have your opinion. That's fine. That's okay. Have your opinion. That doesn't mean I succumb to it.
Right.
I'm still
Right.
gonna try to live my best life the way I know how.
What were you gonna say, Lita?
Well, I remember when I was a kid, my favorite line is, "What you think of me has no bearing on what I think of myself." But that's not true. When it comes from your father, it's hurtful. So, what I would say to answer Tatiana's question
It was
is,
not Tatiana, but okay.
what's her name? You know I'm not good with names. What is it?
Tiana. Tiana.
Tiana. I'm sorry, Tiana. Y'all not gonna have me back on the show again. What I would say is to be honest. Be honest. I wish I knew back then. I didn't really start standing up and speaking for myself because, again, if you have a relationship with your father that's contingent on how you performing and whether or not you piss them off or not, a lot of times you won't say and do because you don't want to do what? Make them mad. But if I would have knew back then what I eventually learned, you just got to be honest, baby. You have to be honest, and you have to stand up for yourself, because I don't care how strong you are. At some point, especially when it's coming from a parent, you start to internalize, those things. So in order to protect yourself as soon as you can, speak up for yourself. And if if he's talking down on you, you let him know, hey, in a very respectful way, because he's still your father. I'm not cool with that, and I don't feel that way about me. I hate that you feel that way about, and have a conversation, and have as many conversations as you need to have until that behavior or that language changes. And that's what I did.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Angel took the words right out of my mouth. It was really a reflection of what they feel about themselves. And that's with any type of relationship, a parent-child relationship, spouse relationship, friendship relationship. You're going to reflect. You're just mirroring what you see in yourself. And that's just life. That's how people are. So if you are around somebody who has low self-esteem, they're going to deflect that on you. I mean, it's just, I guess that's just human nature. Somehow that's the way that we're built. I'm not perfect. I try to see the good in everybody and see the positive in everybody, because I do believe that there's something good in everything. Even the worst things that happen, there's something good to come out of it. It may not come out right then.
Right.
It may be years down the line. It could be generations down the line. Why do you think slaves are running away and trying to talk about freedom and still talking about their history? They didn't see the results right then, but generations later, the little bit of our history that we know is because they kept talking about it. They didn't stop. So there is a silver lining. And the whole goal, my whole goal of writing and sharing is to break the cycle. So if you're not able to break that cycle with your direct parent or whatever else, break it with your children. Don't do that to them. Be the parent that you would have wanted.
That's right.
Because I think all of our parents learn and evolve and try to do better than the generation before. So step it up. Be better than that, to give our children a more well-rounded, full life and opportunities and a full way of being them full selves without having all this extra baggage, because we're just carrying our parents' baggage. That's what we're doing. And it bleeds into us internally, externally, how we see things, how we think about things. So that's
right.
It's so multi-layered. And we don't really
true.
realize it because we're living in the now. But break the cycle.
Right.
Break the cycle. Go ahead,
That is
Lita.
so true, Delina. And I just want to add to that. I just, in my heart, I can only speak about my parents. I honestly believe that my parents did the very best that they knew how to do. You know, they did the very best that they knew how. You have to remember, our parents come from their own environment, you know, and then bring us into their environments like we are doing our. So I do believe my parents did the best that they could do. And I believe that my experiences being at home has formed me and developed me into who I am today. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I can't say. I mean, I can sit up and say, "Oh, I wish it was this, and I wish it was like that," and I would listen. Our experiences formed who we are. I wouldn't be who I am today had I not dealt with those issues with my father. And those are just, I mean, there are awesome things about my father. I'm not bashing him, but we're just keeping it real, right? So
Right.
I am who I am, and I thank him for that. He's taught me a lot through even his absence at times, you know. Um, and I've had to be stronger a lot of times because of his absence. So I don't take nothing back, and that's all I'm here saying today. Learn how to pick up and move forward from that at some point, and learn to be forgiving of your father, and learn to have conversations with him, you know, and heal yourself, talk yourself through it. Oh, this has been
I totally
fun.
agree.
Absolutely. Angel, did you have anything to wrap up? You good?
I just want to say, just, my daily mantra is life is what you make it. You make
That's
your
right.
life.
That's right.
Keep God in your heart, and try to go each day, with a kind word to someone. Because I mean, you would never, if I didn't tell you what I went through, you would never know. You know what I mean? Because I do not want to wear that victim patch. I don't wear that.
Mm-hmm.
I ripped that off a long time ago. And I also want to remind people that healing is a journey. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm over there now. I'm healed." No, it's a journey. It's ongoing, and it still takes a lot of work. And just be honest with yourself and
Mm-hmm.
change the story that you tell yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that
So
from
we
the
are not,
Young Van Zandt.
I was going to say yes. And we are not the things that happen to us. We are
That's
the
right.
people who evolve from it. Anything can happen to you. You can get, long as you're living, you can still come out on top. And I read something yesterday that says sometimes it feels like you're being buried, but actually you are being planted. Go ahead and bloom. I mean, we ain't even got to say nothing else about that. Like, because that's how
Mm-mm.
it comes. It piles on, piles on, piles
It's
on. And you
harvest
think that
time. It's
it's,
harvest
it's
time.
harvest time. Go ahead and bloom. And then the seeds that you
Get
give
your
out,
harvest.
the seeds that you give out need to be seeds of positivity and just good things. Good, you reap what you sow. Okay, so don't sow the same bad seeds. Sow some good seeds. So
Right.
thank you, everybody who joined us live tonight. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning again. Thank you, Lita, for joining us. This week I do have another
Anytime.
video. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank
Anytime.
you. I do have a video that I'm going to post on my page because I want to thank Mr. Thomas Battle of B&B Fish and Wings right here in Powder Springs, Georgia. He let us use his restaurant when we were doing the visual series. And so he just let us come in early one morning. I was like, "Can I use your place?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, come on." So I didn't even have to ask twice or nothing. He was just willing to help and let us rearrange his furniture and everything and put it back. And so I really want to thank him and everything for helping us do that. So I will post that video. So if you live in the area or passing through that area, visiting that area, please go by and get you some wings. They actually are good. I don't like everybody's wings, but those wings are good. When I want wings, I go there. And he has other stuff too. So thank you, ladies.
Thank
And
you
once again, if
guys.
you
Thank
missed
you
any
for
of the
joining.
series, just go to the website, lionessvisions.net. If you need a book, lionessvisions.net. Or anything like that. So thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Lita. And we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Buenas noches.